told her to get the travel agent on the line and see if there was a hotel anywhere because everybody's scurrying for a place to spend the night. I get a call back and they said there is one room left at the Crown Plaza, LaGuardia. We hailed down a taxi. We make our way through dark streets because the street lights weren't working because remember there is no power. We walk into a candlelit hotel because they didn't have any power. They had to register us by hand because the computer system was not working. And we had to go up to our room by flashlight. We went inside the hotel room, and all we could do was hope that tomorrow would be a better day. It's the middle of August. It's piping hot. The air conditioning is not working because, again, there is no power. That's when my wife decided to pull back the curtain to open the window so that we could get some night air in to make things a little bit more comfortable. When she pulled back the curtain and opened the window, that's when we saw it. Immediately across the street from the Crown Plaza LaGuardia was the Marriott Hotel completely lit up. We opened the window, there were lights. People were, because they're right across the street from each other, people were outside, music was playing. Inquiring minds want to know. The question on the floor was, how could there be this much light in the middle of this much darkness? How could things be so dark and that place be so well lit? So we made our way back downstairs and crossed the street, walked into an air-conditioned hotel, TVs all along the lobby with CNN discussing the darkness in New York. People were standing in line to get hot food that was full of joy and celebration. Inquiring minds want to know, how could there be this much light when we're surrounded by this much darkness? I found the assistant manager and I asked him the question, how can this be? He smiled and he said, well, we've been being asked that all day, and it's since the power went down in New York, and it's really fairly simple. We built this hotel with a gas generator. So we have power on the inside that's not dependent on circumstances on the outside.
Come on.
We got something working in here that they don't have out there, so in here is different than out there. Something was at work in their facility that changed the environment of the people who walk through their doors. When these ladies find themselves in an unplanned pregnancy, they find themselves in a dark place. They find themselves in a place of uncertainty, often a place of abandonment, often a place of economic deprivation, often a place of shame, regularly a place of guilt. They find themselves in a dark place. And all of a sudden, there's Lifeline, a well-lit location in a dark place.
Amen.
That's why I love a verse that you all know. Jeremiah 29:11. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord. It is a plan that's a good one, not a bad one, and it's designed to give you a future and to give you a hope. I am sure you would agree with me that is a good verse. But what you need to know is that's a good verse in a dark chapter. See, if you read Jeremiah 29, things aren't good. The people are in exile, verse 4, because of their sin. They are surrounded by a culture that is not supporting them. They're in Babylon. Their families have disintegrated, their economics is in shambles, and even their spiritual vitality is gone. They are in a bad chapter, but in a bad chapter, I still got a well-lit verse. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your future, full of hope, not your calamity. But not only is it a well-lit verse in a dark chapter, it's a well-lit verse in a dark chapter located in a dark book. If you're depressed, don't read Jeremiah for devotions. That's not the book you want to read. That's a book of pain and tears and judgment and sin. It's full of hopelessness. But in a dark chapter, located in a dark book, I got a well-lit verse. I have a plan for you, said the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. Some of these ladies come in a dark chapter. This unplanned pregnancy, this abandonment, this shame, this guilt, this sense of despair becomes a great chapter. But some come not only because this is a great chapter, but it's a chapter that's part of a bigger book. They can look back, maybe it's their second unplanned pregnancy, or maybe they, like our sister, was abandoned with 2 children, and the chapters just add up. In a dark chapter, located in a dark book, I got a well-lit location. For the ladies who take advantage of Lifeline, they can find a well-lit location regardless of how many chapters have accumulated in their lives. Amen. I have a plan for you. And it's a plan of hope and future. Hope is a powerful word, because hope is always future oriented. The biblical meaning of hope is always discussing tomorrow. Hope says where you're going is better than where you came from and where you are. Amen. Hope is your tomorrow is going to outpace your yesterday. Hope is looking what's ahead and not being owned by what's behind. And if a person can see, if they can just see that there is something better out there, it empowers them to deal with the pain right here. But if they're in pain right here and they see nothing out there, that means hope has escaped them, opening up the door for abortion, the invitation of Planned Parenthood to premeditated murder. But when they can see a well-lit location, some of you, when you leave today, will get in your car and you will back out of your parking space. That means you're going to have to spend a little bit of time in your rear view mirror. You're going to have to look and see what's behind you as you back up. Then you're going to put your car from reverse into drive, and you're going to be moving forward. As you move forward, you're going to spend your time now in front of a much bigger piece of glass called the windshield. When you back out, you're going to need that rear view mirror. But when you're going somewhere, you're going to need the windshield. And the reason why the windshield is so much bigger than the rear view mirror is because where you're going is bigger than where you came from. When these ladies come into Lifeline, they are given a windshield so they don't have to any longer live in a rear view mirror.
Come on.
Now, you need a rear view mirror because you need to glance at it to see where you came from and what's behind you. But if you're going home, you don't live in a rearview mirror. You live in a windshield. What Lifeline is giving these young ladies and their babies is a windshield, so they no longer have to live in the past of their rearview mirror. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord. And it's a good plan. And it involves a future, and it involves a hope. A joyful expectation that tomorrow can be better.
Amen.
Why is it so well lit? From what I've heard tonight and what I read before I came, the exposure that I've got, why is it so lit? What would make this unique? Well, verse 12 and 13 of Jeremiah 29 says, and then you will seek me, look for me, search for me, and you will find me when you look for me with all of your heart. You know why this place is lit? This place is lit because people find God while they find hope.
Yeah.
A lot of folks offer hope who don't offer God.
Come on.
But God says the reason why you're going to make it is I am going to give you me. So what that means is, and I've heard the Christocentric, Christ-centered orientation of this ministry, is that folk, ladies, their children who come here get to live twice. There's physical saving of the life of the unborn child or the children who they are housing. But then there is spiritual opportunity for spiritual transformation, salvation, spiritual growth, discipleship, and development. See, that's life on top of life. That's giving life in time and securing life for eternity. So any involvement you have with them, you're getting folk to live twice. Because God is at the center of what they do. They create an environment where people get to know the Lord while they get to know life. What's interesting about Lifeline, I get invited all the time to pregnancy centers. People know my pro-life stand and know my burden in my community, the African American community. The statistics are off the chart, 34% of the abortions are occurring in the African American community. So they know my passion for this issue, that unfortunately the most unsafe place for a black baby is in the womb of its mother, because of the propensity toward abortion in light of the social, economic, and familial circumstances that are often surrounding many of these ladies, but that group in particular. But what caught my attention about Lifeline was the comprehensive nature of their ministry. That they not only, as many pregnancy centers do, and we congratulate them for doing that, save the life of the unborn, but surround the mother and the child with support systems to change the direction of their lives. They not only save the baby, they empower the mother.
Yes.
Education, opportunity, housing. Why is that important? Because God says in Jeremiah 29, he says, do not decrease there, increase. Don't not have children. Have children. And that's in pagan, Planned Parenthood controlled Babylon. He says, don't you back away from having children. While they are aborting their future, you keep having babies that know me. But he says, I want you to build families there, provide housing there, provide education there, and promote marriage there. He says all of that in verse 5 and 6. And seek the welfare of the city, pagan Babylon, in which I have placed you. Pray for it, because if you make it better for them, you'll make it better for you. So when these ladies become productive, they get gainful employment, they're able to stand on their own 2 feet, they are making it better for themselves, which makes it better for their children, which makes it better for everybody else. And not many pregnancy centers offers all that as part of the package of comprehensive care and well-being. They ought to be congratulated for that kind of impact. He says, I've got a plan. Those ladies that come to Lifeline, we have a plan. We have a plan for you to get your GED. We got a plan for you to be able to gain a skill. We got a plan for you not to be on the street, but to have a place to live. We got a plan. We've got this protocol, and if you go through this protocol, we're going to empower your life while we save your baby. See, that's something special. And then in verse 14 he says, and then I will restore your fortune. Verse 11, I got a plan. Verse 12 and 13, you're going to meet me. Verse 14, if you stick with the plan and you meet me, I'll turn this thing around. Restore your fortune. If you were to call my office, you'll talk to a lady named Sylvia. Sylvia is my executive assistant. Been with me 29 years, and Sylvia was raped. She was raped and got pregnant. And so the emotional turmoil drove her to pursue an abortion. But through a series of interventions, there was no abortion. She gave birth to a baby boy. She gave her life to Christ, became a Christian, raised that baby boy as a Christian. Our church surrounded Sylvia with love and care and support. Her son grew up in our ministry, in our children's ministry, then our youth ministry. We saw secretarial skills, and she became a secretary and came up the ranks until she became an administrative assistant. What you need to know about her son, Curtis, is that this child of a rape got so on fire for God that he went into full-time ministry, and now he oversees all campus urban ministry for what used to be called Campus Crusade for Christ in all of America. Because I got a plan for you. And it's a good plan. And it involves a future and a hope, and I will restore your fortune. Or to put it in some slang, God can hit a bullseye with a crooked stick. Even if it's a mess up, he can create a hookup that produces a fix-up. I miss my wife. She passed 2.5 months ago. And we battled hard, but God made the final decision. And there's so many things I miss about her. She would travel with me. Of course, all that I've accomplished, she's the star, because none of it would have happened without her. One of the things she would do on Sunday is that's when we had the big meals, when the kids were growing up. When our 4 kids were growing up, Sunday was a roast potatoes, green beans, cornbread, iced tea, 7-Up cake. I mean, it was all on Sunday. Now you have to understand, she wasn't doing that again on Monday. She's only doing this on Sunday. After we ate on Sunday, she became the Tupperware queen. Because all the leftovers were put in Tupperware and put in the refrigerator. Because they were going to come back out on Monday. On Monday, she took leftovers and reconfigured them. One day I saw her take the leftovers from Sunday, bring out a casserole dish, dice it, chop it, and put the leftovers at the bottom of the casserole dish. Then she grated some cheese and sprinkled the grated cheese over the leftovers that was in the casserole dish. Then she took some cream of mushroom and poured cream of mushroom over the grated cheese that was in the casserole dish. Put it in the oven, brought it out. Shucks, that was the best stuff I ever had in my life. Actually, what it was leftovers in the hands of a master.
Come on.
Let me tell you how good God is.
Yeah.
God can take leftover situations, failures, sins, circumstances, dice it, chop it, pour a little cream of Holy Ghost over it, and still serve up a life worth living. And what Lifeline has done is they become cooks in the kitchen for the kingdom of God, for hungry ladies who need hope and a future and life and a tomorrow. They need a windshield and not be trapped in a rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So they've invited you here. They've invited me here to rally and to ask you to pray for them, to volunteer and come alongside and support them, but also to meet the financial needs of the ministry. If you're Planned Parenthood, you make money by getting rid of kids. If you're Lifeline, you have to raise money to save them.
Yes.
You make money if you're going to kill them. You got to raise money if you're going to save them while you save the mother too. Their budget is $1 million. I would like to challenge you to raise half of their budget tonight. That at least $500,000 be given or committed so that they can worry about ministry and not worry about money. Because you see that they're not talking ministry, they're doing ministry. And they've got the lives to show for it. I want to challenge you to be generous tonight. To go the extra mile tonight. And you give them such a jump start toward their $1 million budget by the $500,000 at least that you raise tonight, that they can see the rest without having to be distracted from what they have been essentially called to do, because they do more than the average pregnancy center does. They are a whole life ministry, not just a save the baby ministry, as important as that is. A father called his daughter named Sally. Sally, come here. I want to talk to you. Sally comes over. Girl, you've been so good. You've been a good daughter. You've done your schoolwork. You've done your housework. Your mother only has great reports on you. Girl, you have done a good daughter. Whatever you want to do, Sally, I want to do. You tell me what you want to do, and I'm going to do it just to let you know I'm so proud of you. Sally thinks for a moment. Daddy, I want to go to the zoo. You want to do what? I want to go to the zoo. If that's what you want, Sally, I'll take you to the zoo. But Daddy, can I take some of my friends? Sure. Sally comes back with 9 girlfriends. We're ready, Daddy. We're ready, Daddy. But Sally's telling y'all, I know, but I want us all to go to the zoo, Daddy, and have fun. Okay, hop in the van. They get in the van. They're at the zoo. For 2 straight hours, they're having a ball at the zoo. They've gone to see all the different animals and everything. And they're just full of joviality because it was fun with their friends at the zoo. Sally, girls, it's time to leave. Time to go. Okay, Daddy. Thank you for bringing us to the zoo. As they are departing the zoo, Sally says, Daddy, look. Look. Look over there. They're giving elephant rides. Yeah, well, Sally, they may be giving elephant rides, but it's time for us to go. Please, Daddy, please, Daddy, please. Please, Daddy, please, Daddy. I want to ride the elephant. We gotta go, son, but please, Daddy, I'm begging you. You told me I was doing so good. Let me ride the elephant. Okay, come on, let's find out how much these elephant rides are. Excuse me, sir, how much to ride an elephant? Oh, it's $20 a ride. Let's go, girls. It's time to go. Daddy, please let me ride that. We can't ride the elephant. It costs us. It's $20 a ride. It's $10. Wait, we can't ride. Daddy, look. Look, Daddy. It's an elephant. Yes, I know it's an elephant, but it's an expensive elephant. And we gotta go. Daddy, I don't think you're looking. Look, Daddy. It's an elephant. I know it's an elephant, but do you see how much it costs? Daddy, I don't think you're paying attention. Look, it's an elephant. Ladies and gentlemen, some things are so big you just don't quibble about the price. When you see a ministry this big doing this much, you don't quibble about the price. It's just so big it's worth the cost. And so on your table there's a card. They want your information, and I want you to check the box that's appropriate for you. And if they don't have a box big enough for what you have the capacity to do for them to get $500,000 tonight, they have a box for you to write it in. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's something this big,